I think it was in the back of my husband's mind since the day he was born. We married in 1968, and after a few years in agricultural business, I knew that Bert was still hankering for a farm. My name is Lauraine Andrews, sometimes known as Laurie, or to the staff, I was Mrs. A. But one day he came home and told me that he had visited the agricultural rep at that time in Milton and was told of a farm in Halton Hills. Bert was looking for a particular kind of soil, and this is what we found. The soil was here for blueberries, which is quite rare in the GTA, and I think he saw the opportunity, and then he told me about it. I wasn't so sure about it. It was a big gamble. We had 3 children, but we ended up moving out here in 1980, and that year we planted 5 acres of strawberries, 5 acres of blueberries, and 3 to 4 acres of raspberries, and then a lot of sweet corn. That was our first year. Actually, the picture is a picture of the dahlia fields. When I look at it and see the sky and the trees and the escarpment in the back, that's where the name came from. When we moved here, what were we going to call this farm? Looking at the beautiful scenery, my husband said, let's call it Andrews Scenic Acres. It just seemed natural, and that's what it was called, and people still refer to it as scenic. Scenic Acres is what they often say. Bert was planning on just blueberries, but realized the economy didn't make that possible. So strawberries became probably the most well-known crop that we had. The first year we just sold sweet corn because that was all it was producing. The taste of sweet corn, honestly, there's nothing better. We opened the second year for picking strawberries and raspberries. Blueberries take about 4 years to get into production, so there wasn't very much there. But between the sweet corn and the early crops, and then we added asparagus and rhubarb, which were excellent crops to begin the season. So that started the season off early. We had raspberries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. He added different kinds of currants, black, red, and white. Then in a couple of years along the way, Bert got interested. He loved flowers, and I think that's where he grew up on a farm. It was a dairy farm, but he loved helping his mother in the flower beds, and he added dahlias and gladiolus and sunflowers, and then we had squash, pumpkins. So we pulled the season from April through to the end of October. In 1998, he had another idea that kind of blossomed in that he started the winery. Bert did not like any produce to go to waste, so he got going with fruit wines. He had a fruit winemaker that helped him along with that. He won some awards with it, but it was a natural addition to the farm. He called the winery Scotch Block Winery because we live in the area where many of the Scottish settled many, many years ago. We did school tours. We would hire usually retired people, mostly women, who came and developed a program and took the children out. He didn't want a play school tour. He wanted it to be something that the kids would learn and know where their food came from. And it became very popular. And we had many, there'd be times I was working off the farm at the time, and if I went by during the day, I always counted the buses, and the lot would be full of buses. He was driven. I say he's tenacious, and he worked very, very hard and had done his research and knew exactly what he needed and wanted to do. I mean, I was the inside person. I looked after all the bills, and once we started having staff, I did payroll and all that kind of thing. We had 3 streams of staff. We had the Mexican farm workers, who we actually just adored. We felt that they were almost backbone to our operation. We had students in the summer, and then we had many adults, most of them retired or semi-retired. Many years we had well over 100 people on our payroll. He did everything. He certainly directed everything. So the playgrounds, we had an animal corral. We always had sheep and goats and turkeys and chickens out there, and people just loved coming and seeing those animals. The haunted forest, we had a little wooded area on the farm, so a path was put through it, and every year we would do haunted things. There'd be like ghosts hanging from the trees, and skeletons, snake pits, and things like that. We did a lot of farm markets. At one time, we were doing 9 farmers markets a week. He saw himself as a true agriculture person, a tender of the land. He was so careful with everything he did. When we bought this farm, his line to me was, "Laurie, it's really good dirt, soil." One thing that Bert did every year, he had classes from the University of Guelph come out here to see the farm, and it would be students that would be in the same options that he took, crop science and horticulture and all of that kind of thing. So he, I think, enjoyed kind of mentoring young farmers that were coming along. We had 3 children. My husband said we educated them too well. I mean, they chose not to continue on with the farm here. I have lots of historical things to show the children and my grandchildren, and all of them loved coming here. We did a very successful job of it, and I'm proud of that. And I know that they're proud of it as well. We've had a lot of families come for years and years, and I still run into people who say that they came as a child and now they're bringing children and grandchildren. So, well, he wanted them to pick fruit and know what it tastes like fresh picked and to take home, but he also wanted people to experience the outdoors, nature, and but also to see where their food comes from, and to have fun as families. It's been a wonderful experience over all of the years. We were here 37 years from the time we bought until when we sold. But we're very happy that Andrews Farm, and it still has the Andrews name, is going forward. And Bert loved driving up here and seeing the cars in the parking lot and seeing his name on the sign. He loved what he did. I'm so proud that it grew to what it is, and it grew to the point that Bert achieved becoming a part of the Ontario Agricultural Hall of Fame. It brings pride. Well, first of all, having our name on that sign just couldn't be more wonderful. Secondly, they're growing the same crops that we are. They still have the flowers. Bert loved the flowers. They're doing some things differently, but it's still moving along, and I know Bert was very proud of the way it was going, so that's, to us, a gift. I hope it continues for a long, long time, and I hope that they'll have as much success as we did. I hope that Andrews sign is still out there, and I hope there's still a parking lot full of people, and I hope there's still strawberries coming out of the door, and blueberries, and corn.